You caught yourself mid-laugh once. Something genuinely funny, a real laugh, and a quiet voice in the back of your head said, "Why am I laughing? Is this real, or am I just performing it?" And just like that, the laugh was gone. You weren't in the moment anymore. You were watching yourself be in the moment, from somewhere just behind your own eyes. There's a certain kind of person who lives like this all the time. They walk into a room, and before anyone says a word, they've already read it. The forced smile. The sentence that's technically polite, but full of something else underneath. The half-second pause nobody else even registered. People call it a gift, a sixth sense. And sometimes, honestly, it is. But there's a cost to seeing this much. A specific one. The kind that has nothing to do with other people and everything to do with what it's like to live inside a mind that never powers down. By the end of this, I'll show you the one shift that finally lets people like this rest. It's smaller than you'd think. But first, you have to understand where this even comes from. Over-awareness usually starts in one of two places. For some people, it's just how they're built. The psychologist Elaine Aron spent years studying what she called highly sensitive people, nervous systems that take in more, sit with it longer, and feel everything at a higher resolution than the people around them. They didn't choose it. They came pre-tuned. For others, it was learned. Picture a kid in a house where the mood of the adults changed like weather. Calm 1 minute, sharp the next, no warning in between. That child can't just relax and be a child. They become a radar. They learn to read a footstep in the hallway, a particular kind of silence at the dinner table, the exact tightness in a voice that means leave the room now. Their amygdala, the brain's threat alarm, gets switched on early, and it stays on. Nobody taught them this. Their nervous system built it to keep them safe. And here's the part they carry into adulthood. The danger past. The radar never turned off. So if this is you, understand something first. You are not broken. You're running a kind of intelligence that was shaped by survival. A shield that, somewhere along the way, fused into your skin. So how does that shield actually show up? Let's start with the most exhausting one, sign one. You live in constant analysis mode. For most people, a conversation is just a conversation. For them, there's a second screen running underneath it the whole time. A text comes in from their boss. Can we talk later? And where you'd read 6 neutral words, they read a temperature drop. Did I do something? Is that coldness? Or am I inventing it? They're nodding, smiling, holding their coffee, fully in the room. And at the exact same time, some part of them is taking notes, comparing details, scanning. The result is, they can finish an ordinary day feeling like they ran a marathon, because their brain quietly did. That scanner from childhood never powered down. It just found new things to scan. And then that scanner turns around and points at them. Sign 2. You don't just feel things, you grade them. You feel something, and then immediately step back and judge whether you're allowed to. There's a word for this. Metacognition. Thinking about your own thinking. Everyone does it once in a while. For them, it's a switch with no off position. They feel sad walking down the street, and instead of just being sad, the voice starts. Why am I sad? Does this even make sense? I've got a good job. Other people have it worse. What is wrong with me? And even joy gets inspected. They laugh at a dinner, and half a second later, part of them is floating up near the ceiling, looking down. Was that too loud? Did that sound fake? It's like dancing while staring at yourself in a mirror to fix your posture. You never miss a step, but you lose the music. If any of this is landing a little too precisely, if you're recognizing yourself and not entirely enjoying it, there's a decent chance you're one of these people. And if you are, it genuinely helps to feel a little less alone in it. Subscribing is free, and it's how this channel reaches the others who quietly need to hear this too. Okay, sign 3. You start to lose your innocence about people. Deep awareness eventually pulls back the curtain. Psychologists call the ability underneath it theory of mind, the read you run on what someone else is actually thinking underneath what they're saying. For these people, that red never stops running. A coworker brings them a coffee and praises their work, and instead of just enjoying it, their brain is already scanning. What does this person want? Is this leading somewhere? They start to see that kindness sometimes comes with conditions, that an apology can be a way to end a conversation rather than a real one. They don't become bitter. That's not it. They just lose the ability to take the surface of things at face value. A compliment always seems to carry a second layer, and that's its own quiet, specific kind of loneliness, sitting in a crowd, feeling like the only one in the room who can see the layer underneath. Sign 4. Your empathy doesn't have an off switch, and it doesn't stop at reading people. They feel them. There are cells in the brain called mirror neurons that fire when you watch someone else go through something, almost as if it's happening to you. Most people have a dimmer on that. These people don't. Think about Nathan. He's on a delayed train, and a stranger 2 seats down is quietly coming apart. Not making a scene, just staring out the window with wet eyes, a phone face down in their lap. Nathan doesn't know them. They never say a word to each other. But he carries that stranger's grief in his chest for the rest of the night and into the next day. That's the trade. People love being around these people because they finally feel understood. But the bill comes due in private because the one who always absorbs everyone else's weather rarely has anyone asking about their own. Sign 5. It stops being a thought and moves into your body. All of it. The analysis, the absorbing. It doesn't stay in the mind. There's a sense called interoception. It's your ability to feel what's happening inside you. Your heartbeat, your breath, the tightness in your gut. These people have the dial turned all the way up. They drink 1 coffee. Their heart speeds up a little, and where you'd feel nothing, their nervous system flips through its files and announces, fast heartbeat, that's danger. Something's coming. A completely normal sensation gets read as a warning. The body floods with stress, which creates more sensations, which get read as more danger. The psychologist James Gross found that holding all of this in doesn't make it disappear. The body quietly keeps the score the face is hiding. So they move through the day braced, restless, on guard against nothing they can actually point to. So what do you do with a mind like this? Here's the thing. You can't turn it off. Asking someone this aware to just stop noticing is like asking someone with perfect eyesight to see the world blurry. That's not the move. The move, and this is the shift I promised you at the start, isn't to notice less. It's to stop carrying everything you notice. And there are 3 small principles that change everything. 1. Not every silence is a message. Sometimes a slow reply just means someone's tired. Sometimes the coworker who walked past without smiling just has a headache. Not everything is about you. 2. Not every feeling needs a case built around it. When the anxiety shows up, you don't have to solve it. You can just say, "Oh, my heart's racing." That's a sensation, and let it pass without launching the full investigation. 3. And this one's the big one. Not every insight needs to be acted on. You can see someone's insecurity clearly and not appoint yourself their therapist. You can sense a relationship wobbling and let it wobble. Clarity is only a gift when it comes with a boundary, knowing what's yours to hold and what belongs to the world to handle without you. Because here's what nobody ever tells these people. The awareness was never the problem. And awareness isn't even the same thing as being right. You can read a room perfectly and still be completely wrong about one person in it. The skill was always real. What was missing was permission to set it down. And when these people finally learn that, the light in their mind doesn't go out. It softens. It turns from a sharp laser that exposes every flaw into a warm candle. Bright enough to understand other people, gentle enough to finally warm themselves. So if you saw yourself somewhere in those 5 signs, I'd genuinely like to know. Which one hit the hardest? The analysis, the self-judging, the lost trust, the absorbing, or the one that lives in your body? Tell me in the comments. And if this made the noise in your head feel a little quieter, even for 10 minutes, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell. There's more like this coming, and you're really not carrying it alone. I'll see you in the next one.